We now know the names of the injured Eastridge police officer and the man accused of hitting him with his speeding car. Find out how that officer is doing tonight.
And the Hamilton County Fair is still a few months away from the Little Debbie Hamilton County Fair, but see how local leaders are reimagining this year's event. We'll tell you what's on the way straight ahead on News 12 at 6.
You're watching News 12 at 6. This is the place for the latest news from around the Tennessee Valley and North Georgia.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kate Blevins.
I'm Andrew Harrison. Thank you for joining us. This is News 12 at 6. We have an update from last night's officer-involved incident near the Tennessee-Georgia line.
That's right. According to Chief Clint Uselton of the Eastridge Police Department, that Officer Alan Resendez was attempting to deploy spike strips on Interstate 75 in an effort to stop a fleeing vehicle. That is when Tobias Tesman Wheat swerved across multiple lanes and struck Officer Resendez at an extremely high rate of speed. Wheat continued to flee south on Interstate 75 into the state of Georgia, while officers on the scene quickly began trauma care on Officer Resendez.
Officer Resendez was transported by ambulance to the hospital. Like I said, he has significant injuries. He has months and months of recovery in front of him. But indications are at this time, and we're very hopeful that after a long road, he will make a full recovery. We fully expect him at this point to come back and continue to be an officer with the city of Eastridge.
Good news there. Wheat was ultimately taken into custody in Whitfield County and is awaiting extradition back to Tennessee. THP is conducting the investigation and is the primary agency responsible for criminal prosecution.
Well, authorities in Red Bank say a suspect's been arrested in relation to the theft of mail at the Red Bank Post Office on Monday. Jashun Morris arrested and booked into the Hamilton County Jail on more than a half a dozen charges. These charges include theft of property over $10,000, identity theft, criminal impersonation, and evading. Police say they chased suspects seen shortly after the crime was reported, but the suspects were able to get away at that time. However, Chief Dan Seymour with the Red Bank Police Department reported that detectives were later able to identify Mr. Morris as a suspect in this crime, and he's facing some serious charges. Hamilton County Election Commission tested their voting machines this morning. These machines will be used during both early voting and election day for the state's primary election, which is coming up next month. More than 14 voting machines were tested for accuracy this morning. And when testing the machines, the Hamilton County Election Commission says they're making sure every vote gets counted.
We want people to be confident when they go to the polling place. You know, there's a lot of things that swirl around on the internet, but I wanted people to know that locally we're on top of it. We're making sure these machines are accurate and they can trust us with the integrity of their elections.
Well, that is vital for the whole process. The state primary early voting will begin on July the 12th. Primary election day is set for August the 1st.
It'll be here before we know it, folks. The Hamilton County Fair will be returning to McDonald Farm in Sell Creek this November. Over 40,000 people attended last year's inaugural fair there. As the event works to establish itself, News 12's Nick Hill found out how organizers plan to improve it and sustain the farm's growth.
Let's go over here.
The farm doesn't belong to county government. It doesn't belong to those of us with elected titles. It belongs to the people, the taxpayers of Hamilton County.
After the success of last year's Hamilton County Fair, organizers plan bigger things for this year's festivities. Country musician Larry Fleet will be this year's headliner. Additionally, the rodeo will make its return this year, along with the celebration of our region's agricultural heritage.
Because we're moving into the fourth generation being removed from the farm, so most people, and I do a lot of ag education or conservation and agriculture education, and most of the kids don't even, when you ask them where milk comes from, they think it comes from, Food City, Publix.
One of the main problems organizers say they had last year was traffic flow coming in to the fair. They say especially with a lot of people coming in from the south from Chattanooga, traffic backed up along 27 northbound. They believe they have found solutions to ease that traffic flow congestion.
The second night into last year's festival, they changed the flow of traffic, and my staff did along with Highway Patrol, and designed it to allow both southbound 27 and northbound 27 traffic that was wanting to access the fairgrounds for parking to access together. So they had two dedicated inbound lanes.
The fair, according to leaders, also signals a commitment to maintain McDonald Farms' natural beauty, as its future continues to be discussed.
The homestead is always going to be protected. That's always been the intent of the county, that this becomes park space, community space, and we're still dreaming the dreams of what the park can end up looking like. The rest of the land, that conversation is ongoing.
More details about the fair are on our website at WDEF.com. In Hamilton County, Nick Hill, News 12.
Well, it's time for our Vote Now poll question of the day. With today's announcement, do you plan to go to the Hamilton County Fair coming up this year? So far, 33% of you are saying yes, you plan to go. 48% though say you're not going. And some of you, 19%, say you might go. Well, we want to hear more from you this evening. There are several ways that you can vote. Use the camera on your cell phone to scan the QR code you see right there on your screen. You can also vote using the News 12 app, or if you'd rather use a computer, head over to our website. That's WDEF.com/vote now to vote. We'll be watching the results and have the final results tonight at 11.
From the EPB Fiber Optics Weather Center, your News 12 AccuWeather 24-hour forecast.
Patterns in the atmosphere are changing a little bit. We're starting to get more clouds into the picture, and you can see some of those on the Island Cove Marina and Resort camera looking back toward the north-northeast. We do not have anything in the way of rainfall. What we do have is a little bit more moisture out there. Dew point temperatures are up a little bit higher than what they were yesterday. What does that mean? Again, with the dew point temperatures closer to the air temperature, we've got more humidity in the air, so we're not seeing humidity levels in the 20% range. They're now up into the 30% range. That's not bad, but it is higher and will continue to go higher. Notice right on in through here from the Atlantic and then off the Gulf of Mexico, a bit of a plume of moisture making its way up and on shore and right into the News 12 viewing area. We did have that front that brought down the drier air from the north. That's falling apart, and now it is starting to let that moisture up our direction, mostly in the form of clouds, and that's blocked out some of the sunshine, so it's not as hot as it could be. Temperatures in the high 80s to the lower 90s, and that's pretty typical for this time of the year. Heat index temperatures, the temperature with the humidity with that feels like index, we're back in the lower to mid 90s, so we're not at the danger level there. What we do have is a decent amount of heat coming our way from out of the west-southwest, and that will give us some very mild numbers. Temperatures through tonight, again, with clouds coming and going, back in the lower 70s, but no expectation of anything involving rainfall. And if you think it's very toasty around here, whether you see the heat dome that's happening out west with record all-time high temperatures possible in Death Valley by this next Monday. And of course, we've got Beryl in the areas down toward the Caribbean with some interesting changes in the forecast over the next few days. That's coming up on News 12 at 6.
All right, Alton, a lot of information to go over with us. Thank you so much. Chattanooga now has direct flights to Denver.
That's right. Find out how new technology could help make your trip through the Denver airport a little faster. You're watching News 12. This is the place for tech.
From the EPB Fiber Optics Weather Center, your News 12 AccuWeather forecast.
Going a little farther up north today for our weather window. Thank you very much, frequent News 12 picture contributor Bill Banzoff from Mackinac Island. A beautiful floral view there for you. That's our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. And if you've got pictures like Bill sent in, all you have to do is drop them to our social media pages. You can email them to us, or you can go to WDEF.com/photos. Please give us a description and or a location so we won't have to make something up. And at our website, you can also see what everybody else has been submitting for the Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. Out on the golf course, it's going to be a steamy one tomorrow. Temperatures pushing the mid-90s. Winds occasionally breezy, but not enough for a hook or a slice problem out there. And don't forget to take along some extra water because it will be steamy. Cloud-sun mixture at Island Cove. Temperatures back just a bit above normal at the airport in the lower 90s. Winds out of the south, not really helping to cool anybody off, but those winds are also helping to bring in more more moisture from off the Atlantic and the Gulf, and that's why we have this plume of moisture here with the clouds and also getting us a little bit more humidity. Next storm system will be making its way through. Another one beyond that, giving us more potential of showers and thunderstorms into the weekend. Now, what we are not seeing at this time is, again, temperatures blazing hot, record high temperature, triple digit, things like that. We're going to be seeing a bit of a downturn. Again, note I did not say cooler, but in the next few days we will be looking at least a little bit of a break in the heat back toward the Midwest, back toward the far west. Anything west of Denver, big heat dome coming into play here. So from Washington State to Southern California, we're going to be seeing some very hot temperatures coming on through. What are we talking about? Well, for right now, again, pretty much typical for us in the southeast U.S. However, coming this Monday, the National Weather Service is forecasting the Death Valley Station to hit 130 degrees, that's 54 degrees Celsius, next Monday, which would tie the highest temperature ever reliably recorded on the planet. So we'll see how well that heat dome sticks around and if it decides to move a little bit farther. Now for us, it's going to be on the steamy side for the big day coming up on Thursday. Light and variable winds, temperatures will be rising. It won't be that cool in the morning, and when we start in the upper 70s and go upwards from there, you know we've got some pretty hot and steamy conditions. So for the midday activities through picnic time around dusk, it's going to be hot and steamy, and throughout the entire day there will be more chances of showers and thunderstorms, and that includes right on in through about fireworks time, about the time it gets dark enough to see them. The trouble is at this point they're going to be haphazardly scattered, and they're not going to be a washout territory, so you may have to wait a few minutes before any of the storms decide to clear the area for that fireworks. We talked about this earlier with the river cleanup. This is Clean Beaches Week, and NOAA's Marine Debris Program is helping to promote the idea of picking up the trash on the beach, no matter who put it there. If you're visiting the beach, pick up a piece, pick up 5, pick up 10, put them where they belong, because again, all of us helping together can help keep our natural resources and beautiful areas clean. Now, back toward the tropics, Beryl is making its way as a Category 4, but it's expected as it goes across the area around the southern Caribbean and into the Bay of Campeche to degrade into a tropical storm. Now, that's decently good news, but with the waters out here so warm, that's a little bit concerning to see it drop so quickly. I'm not entirely possible seeing that actually happen. And it's also curving a little further back toward the north, so that could affect the Texas coastline into about this coming weekend. Our friend in roofing.com weather poll of the day: by activity, which has the most lightning fatalities? Just the daily routine, out for leisure, out for work, or other, and etc. If you'd like to vote, go to WDEF.com/vote now or use the QR code on your screen. 7-day forecast is 10 seconds away on News 12. A close-up floral view of Mackinac Island. Thank you very much, News 12 contributor Bill Banza, for our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. Tomorrow, we're going to keep the rain out of the forecast. Wish we could say the same about Independence Day. Best potential of rain with that next storm system Friday into Saturday, and then lingering showers all the way into next week, where temperatures remain very hot, but at least will moderate a little bit going back toward normal by about this time next week. Another check of your forecast after sports on News 12 at 6.
Thank you, Austin. We appreciate it. Coming up tonight on Prime News at 7, we are all guilty of eating ultra-processed foods every once in a while. But research shows some junk food may shorten your lifespan by more than 10%.
Well, that is a real eye-opener there. And radioactive rhino sounds like a bad villain, but it's actually much more humane. See how wildlife conservationists are using the nuclear option to protect these mighty beasts. Join us for Prime News at 7. This is a Place for Pet Project.
News 12, local scores and highlights from the Lee Roofing Sports Desk.
In today's high school football, a quarterback has basically evolved into a coach on the field. The game and terminology has expanded on the high school level, so that means the knowledge to play quarterback has expanded along with it.
Do you think there's a lot more placed on today's high school quarterback?
100%, at least in our system. You know, there's no handoff belly and handoff buck sweep anymore. We've got pre and post snap RPOs.
But I think as the game has progressed, more and more people have opened the game up. And when you do that, you do put more on the quarterback. And we put a lot on him from an audible system to combination play systems.
Quarterbacks were turning and tossing, or they'd have one read, and now they have a progression that they have to go through. It's a different world than it was probably just as soon as I'd say 12, 14 years ago. It's a whole different ballgame.
Do you have any guesstimate how many plays are in the LFO playbook?
A lot more than I can think about. It's kind of crazy.
I'd say over 100, definitely over 100. Definitely once we move towards season, closer to 200 I would think, but definitely over 100.
Will you have a playbook out at home or the iPad out at home, at night?
Absolutely. It's like I've always got huddle up on computer or got my playbook on my desk, so it's always open.
Our quarterbacks definitely have a lot on them. Not only that, but they've got to call the protection. I don't call protections in game. So if we call passing concept, our quarterback's got to know what passing family is involved with that pass protection.
You use drones to help them see the field from a different angle.
We like the end zone shots better. We use an end zone camera, but you have to use that stuff to kind of get everybody to see spacing and defense.
The drone view has helped us a lot, progressing as an offense. So really just like the aerial view, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a completely different ball game seeing it from above.
No, that's the position that I chose, and that's what I have to do when I choose this position. Whole team's on you. You control the team, you lead the team. So if you want to play this position, that's what goes into it.
The Lakers introduced their NBA draft picks on Tuesday, including former Vols standout Dalton Knecht, who they took in the first round. Knecht says it's be pretty surreal to suit up with LeBron James and the rest of the Lakers crew next season.
It's been exciting, meeting them in person, not only just through the phone, and it's been a fun journey because, like I said earlier, my journey's been different, and coming here to a historic franchise, it's going to be fun. Can't wait to get to work. I knew eventually, I probably would have to run into number 4, but 3's been my number my whole life, and then, 3, AD got it, so why not do Connect 4? Why not?
Why not? Today's poll question, do you think the Lakers wasted a draft pick taking Bronny James in the second round? He, of course, is LeBron's son. Right now, 80% of you are saying, yeah, they might have wasted a draft pick right there. Bronny, by the way, is going to make the team. He's signing a contract, so he doesn't have to worry about a position. I wonder why. Feel free to vote with the QR code on your screen or visit our webpage, WDEF.com. Congratulations to Lookouts pitcher Rhett Lauder. He's been invited to play in the MLB Futures All-Star Game on July 13th at the Texas Rangers home ballpark. While Lauder has struggled a bit with the Lookouts, going with a 1-4 record with an ERA just over 6, MLB.com still has him as the top prospect in the Cincinnati Reds organization. Anything different you can say about the weather right now, Austin?
Out of adverbs. It's not going to be possible for me to do anything different anytime soon. And I promise you will not hear the words "hot as a firecracker" in my forecast. That will not happen. That I'm saying it won't. That's not the same thing. Temperatures back in the mid 90s. We may drop the numbers a little bit into the upcoming weekend, say lower 90s, but unfortunately it's going to be a steamy one as we go throughout the holiday on Thursday, and then chances of showers and thunderstorms will remain and pretty much increase across the area Friday and Saturday. We are still seeing no sign of any severe weather. Here's hoping that stays the way it is and not seeing any problems outdoors into next week as temperatures moderate a little bit. Please note, again, I did not say the word cooler. We'll talk more about the rest of the forecast coming up, plus detecting hurricanes using seismograms. It's happening right now with Beryl in the Caribbean. We'll show you more about that from a volcanologist coming up on Prime News at 7.
I'm going to tell you more about the devastation there.
Yeah.
Just heartbreaking. All right, we'll see you tonight at 7, everyone.